For the next couple of minutes, I'm going to be a 4-year-old boy. And I'm going to sit on the floor, so apologies if you can't see me. But as a 4-year-old boy, I have a unique perspective on the world. As a 4-year-old boy, I'm served my meals by my sister, who's maybe 5 or 6. And whilst my dad's out working, my mum's at home cooking and cleaning. And in far too many cases, when my dad comes home, he would be either emotionally or physically, perhaps sexually abusive or violent to my mum. And when I look out through the door of my home, I see this violence and abuse prevailing. And it's far too common. But what's of real concern, and what we should be really worried about, is that we don't see people challenging that abuse. And so the perspective of a 4-year-old boy is, this is normal. And I have 2 options as I grow up as a boy to become a man. The first option is I can be abusive, like 30% of men around the world, not just here in India. Or I can be apathetic to this problem. And let's be clear, if you're apathetic, you're actually part of the problem. And so 4-year-old boys are growing up today to think that this abuse is normal. And I'd propose that this problem is actually at the root of all of our diversity issues. We, as parents, as fathers, as male role models, and as professionals, we're raising boys to think that abusing women is acceptable. And this failure on our behalf is at the root of this problem, actually, I believe. So if the problem lies with us, so does the solution. And that gives all of us, actually, the opportunity to think about this. And from my work over the last 6 years, what I've learned is that the solution is first and foremost a community-led solution. It is not a solution that is going to be delivered by the state. It is not a solution that we can wait for other people to deliver. And if we wait, we will not solve it, and our children and our daughters will face the same problems that we face today. So I propose that we have to engage the organizations and the individuals who can lead this. And I propose that the 2 groups of organizations who can lead this work are community-based organizations and corporates. Community-based organizations across Asia and in India are particularly strong. For decades, women's organizations have practiced women's empowerment to try to support women and remedy, or in a remedial fashion, to this discrimination. And women's organizations across India have the capacity, they have the infrastructure, and for a very nominal additional cost, can implement programs that change the way communities raise men. And the second group, corporates, employ all of the leading thinkers in India. They have the influence within their staff and within their policies to make decisions. that can also change the way that we as parents are raising our children, and that we as parents who are, even uncles and aunts, but who are working with schools to look after our children's education, that we can ensure as corporate employees and corporate leaders that we're working to tackle this issue too. And so I'm going to just tell you briefly, is this a countdown from 10 minutes? Okay, fine, thanks. So I'm going to tell you briefly, very quickly, about the work we do both in the community sector, community-based organizations, and in the corporate sector. Over the last 6 years, we've developed 8 iterations of a community program that changes the way a community, a system if you like, raises boys. And the way we do that is by working with peer groups of young boys aged 14 to 18. We work with male leaders, 20-something-year-old men, who influence those boys. And we also work with parents and teachers who influence the boys at home and at school. And we've built a series of programs over 6 years and 8 iterations that changes the way these boys think about women. And the result is that within just 15 weeks, 60% of women who live with the boys experience a reduction in either violence or abuse. And the cost of this program is only $70 per community per month. It's not expensive. We're scaling that work, this practice that we've built in Pune, by training other organizations who work really well with women and girls. And these organizations that practice women's empowerment must, in the future, learn how to work well with men. And so it's called Action for Equality in a Box. And we provide Action for Equality in a box. And we invest in these organizations through time and money so that they can learn how to work well with men in their communities too. And to give you an idea of the demand for this, we opened applications in December last year in West Bengal. And in just 3 districts of West Bengal, we had nearly 70 applications from organizations who work with women. And after assessing those applications, we found that 40 of them indeed work well with women and girls. That's just in 3 districts of 1 state. The target is to work with over 100 organizations who work well with women and girls over the next 6 years. And then onto our work with corporates. Well, this is a new area for us, and we're only just beginning a foray into it. But last year, we agreed a contract with a global telecoms company to train 4,000 of their staff across India to ensure that their staff understood the root cause of this problem, and to ensure that their staff were able to take steps towards remedying it. And I've just been in Delhi, and in Delhi, we met 6 organizations, a global social media company, a global engineering and power company, one of India's biggest online travel portals, and they've all agreed to come together and sit at a table and take a lead in this issue by training their staff on the root cause of the problem and providing their staff with training opportunities so that they can take this work not only to their desks and to their teams, but also to their children's communities and schools. And so I'd like to propose that actually there's a lot of work to do. And I'd like to propose that the people in this room as leaders in corporates can actually make a significant difference. And I'd be happy to tell you more about the work we're doing. And thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you.